APM. This is a term used in competitive gaming scene, usually in real-time strategy games or in short RTS games, and it stands for action per minute. Basically, it's measuring how many actions that you're performing in a minute, and the best players in the world usually have a very high APM. For reference, this is the APM chart of StarCraft players. The higher your rank is, the higher your APM is. Having a high APM usually indicates that your micromanagement skills are top-notch. Now, can you apply this skill to Rise of Kingdoms? Absolutely yes. Rise of Kingdoms is not only a city builder game, but it is also an RTS game. So with this video, I'm gonna be bringing the skill cap level of players to the next level because we're gonna be promoting the mechanical skill aspect of the game. Now, I'm gonna show you two methods of micromanaging on open field, and we're gonna start with my favorite method that works best for me. But before that, watch this short video of my own live stream and pay very close attention and keep track of what I'm doing in this clip. Now let me go over the clip and walk you through what is happening in my mind. So right here I am playing with all troop types. As you guys can see, I'm using Siege March, 1 Siege March and 4 melee marches. I'm doing the usual, going back and forth open field fighting. If you take a closer attention to this exact moment right there, here I'm assessing the situation of the open field, and I can see that, we are having a small fighting up top going on here. But the fight that is happening to our right side, the enemy forces seems to be pushing us just a tiny touch, or they are going into the direction where my siege tower is. And as you guys can see, here you can see in a split second I have pressed here. I have selected my siege march, and now if you see the top right corner, my siege march is now demounting. My siege march is getting ready to move. After I click this, I am continuing fighting with my melee marches. Let's play the clip. So now I'm still fighting the, with my melee marches, but as you guys can see, my siege march is already demounting. It takes quite a few seconds to demount. Siege march has demounted. Now I'm selecting my siege march. All the while I'm still continuing fighting with my melee marches. I'm trying to find a good position with my siege march, and this is the position that I have found. Let me rewind back again and show you the exact moment that I've positioned my siege. There we go. So here, also in a split second, I have selected my siege march, and I'm targeting this march of enemy. And if I target this, my siege march will go on to, if it's in the range, it will immediately go with the tower mode. If it's not, it will go a little bit closer and it will go into tower mode as well. Let's roll the clip a little bit. There you go. Now, very exact moment, our siege march is now towering up. All the meanwhile, we are still keeping in attention with our melee marches, going back and forth in this situation. If you guys can notice, my city position is a little bit weird in this scenario. I'm not really using the return button to go back and forth. In this exact position, I'm being forced to use my mouse to click back and forth, going out in and out of the fight. So the city positioning right here, we do have a little bit slight disadvantage, because when you press return button, you are actually gaining movement speed bonus from the alliance tag. In this case, because we are using our mouse button to move move back and forth, it's not really helping us much. But another advantage that we have here, because our city is positioned really close where the fight is happening, we can easily refresh our troops in this scenario. Let's keep playing the clip. Now you can see me, looking to my right and left. I'm just trying to keep track of my health bar of my marches, and also trying to keep track of the positioning and have the field vision where ball is moving, what's happening. And here at this moment you can see me returning my troops. I have deselected my cavalry march and one of my infantry march, and now two of my marches will be going back. And all meanwhile, I am not gonna be losing rage with the remaining of the two marches, and I can just go back straight to fighting like this. Now the fighting is still continuing. Now I am noticing that my archer march is on low HP, so now I'm deselecting my archer march, and my archer march is going back. And with the remaining one marches, I'm fighting at this position. Now I'm thinking that I need to bring out my three marches, right? Because our city is closer. And here I'm trying to bring out my marches, but unfortunately, here it says not enough troops, add reserves first. I did not have enough troops to pull out the other two marches. Because the action is still continuing, I am bringing my zone right here at this moment, and I'm grouping my zone with my Scipio, and I'm continuing fighting again, and I'm using the same method. All right, so let us go into the game, and that method that I showed you is my favorite method, and I prefer that method over the second method, which is also gonna be really good. But this method is called grouping method. You are using your key bindings to group your marches into one group, and you can individually return your troops back and refresh your marches one by one. All meanwhile, you can control your ranged march, your siege march right here, and all of your other 4 melee marches. So I'm gonna explain how this works. This grouping method, most important thing is your hotkey. These shortcut keys, you can assign these however you want, however you prefer it, that works for you, right? The current hotkeys that I'm about to show you is just works for me. For my troop selection, as you guys can see, this is on default. I think it's F1, 2, and F3, F4, F5, right? I have reassigned my commander selections with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doing this, I can select my each individual march by just pressing the numbers, as you guys can see. It works really nice for me because I also chain farm barbs a lot. It makes it easier for me to reach out to those 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers with my fingers and just select my marches, right? Now the grouping short key comes here. Add selected troops to grouping. Okay, how this works is that, let me isolate my siege march right here, my siege C group. Now if I select my Zuglian and press Shift C, now you can see that I am adding Zuglian to my C group. So I can keep adding commanders like this. Now I've added my Scipio, and then I'm adding my Duce, and finally I'm adding my Joan of Arc. So all of my marches are being added one by one to the group. Last but not least, let me go down here. So select formation 1, 2, 3. This is basically the groups, right? I'm using XCV. Again, you don't have to use this XCV. You can use different keys. However, what is working best for you, right? This configuration right here just works for me. The part of the reason why I'm using this XCV key is that I'm using my thumb. If you go ahead and check the keyboard, I'm using my thumb to select XCV, and then I'm using my other 4 fingers to select each individual marches like this. So it's really like I'm just distributing the clicking load and distributing it along with my fingers. Using all of my 5 fingers for this just works for me best, right? I like to control my melee marches in one group and my siege march in a different group. And if I wanna set my power, I can select press 5 and press D, and I can mount the tower like this. Or if the siege march is within the range, I can just simply select on the target and it's gonna automatically start mounting, right? So now let's imagine we are fighting in a ball. Select someone, and then I'm pressing R to return. This R method, there's return method, is gonna be better than going back and forth like with your mouse, which is why in field fighting, if you position your city correctly, you can take advantage of this mechanic, certain mechanics, and you are gonna be going really fast, returning to your city. This movement speed boost is coming from this alliance technology, rapid march. Increased troop march speed when marching to a target that is in alliance territory. Okay, so here you have 7%, and here you have another 15%. Total, you have 22% movement speed bonus. 22% movement speed bonus when you are returning to your city. You should try to take advantage of this mechanic right here. Let's say you are fighting, targeting someone, and you are going back. You just have a burst of movement speed going back, and it's really gonna be hard for enemies to keep chasing you, right? When I press R, it deselects my melee marches, so I have to press the X of the group again. R, X, click, R, X, click. Right? This is gonna take a little bit of practice, and but if you keep doing this, you are eventually gonna develop the muscle memory, and it's gonna be really hard. Easy, not hard, but easy to do. But this is usually the movements that you are gonna be doing on open field. On open field, like except this key binding, of course, like you need to have like field vision or field awareness. In other games, like if you have played Dota 2, League of Legends, or like even Counter-Strike or whatever, right? You are looking at the small mini map all the time, and you are trying to keep track of where everybody is, right? That, you know, map awareness or field vision also gonna take play in how you need to micromanage your marches on open field. So let's say I'm fighting a guy here, right? But all of a sudden there's 3 guys trying to, you know, flank here. Gotta reposition my siege, right? So this is what I'm doing, fighting on open field. And then I see the guys on my, you know, left side coming in. So I need to reposition my siege now. You can just select your siege march and press to the location that you wanna go. And then you can just continue playing with your melee marches. Now, as you guys can see, our siege march already started moving. Let's do that again in close-up position. Press 5 and then press wherever my siege march needs to go. It's taking 8 seconds to demount. So I gotta anticipate and read the open field where everything is going. Now, as you guys can see, my siege march is already moving. All while we are still fighting up top here, right? Now, once my siege march is in position, I select my siege march, press attack, and then I just keep fighting with my melee marches. My siege march already started mounting. Yeah, basically this is how it works, right? So this method, for me, I find this method very interesting. It's like very challenging for me, especially when you are playing all troop types. I play 1 siege march and 4 melee marches. In this scenario, because your siege march takes a couple of seconds to mount and demount, you just have to anticipate the field movement a couple of seconds earlier to position yourselves correctly. Without siege march, this grouping method also works. Let's say we're fighting like this, right? And let's say our Joan of Arc, right, as a commander, now low HP. So what I need to do is I press R. So now my marches are returning. So meanwhile, I press 4 and select my Joan, right? Let's go back here. I gotta do this quick. Press R, select my Joan, and I press Shift C. So now my Joan is in different group. So now when I go back, pressing my X button or the melee march is my main grouping, right? My Joan is not being selected right here, as you guys can see. Let me demonstrate how I can, you know, return my marches one by one, all meanwhile I'm fighting, right? So I'm fighting like this, and I want to return march. I press R, select Joan, different formation. There we go. Now I'm still fighting. Now this time, Luce, go. Yep. I'm still fighting. This time, it's skip your go. Now my Zugulian is remaining, and I can just return my Zugulian if I want. Now, the other advantage of this adding to the formation, this using this key binding is that you can also bring out your marches all while you are fighting in the open field as well. So let's say you are fighting like this and you want to bring extra marches, right? So you don't have to like go AFK, or you don't have to call in your last remaining marches to the CT to refresh. You can keep fighting, and when you want to bring out your marches, you just simply press R just to play it safe for your marches to return, and you just bring out your order marches. Now I'm keep fighting here, going back and forth. I can even press R return button to utilize with the movement speed. Now I see my marches have arrived, right? Now what you can do to assign these marches to your already existing group is that press 2, Shift X, press 3, Shift X, press 4, Shift X, assigning each individual march while they're coming into the field, and I'm assigning to them into my group X, and all of my marches are now grouped. And let's say I want to return again my Joan, press 4, press Shift C, assigning different group, and my Joan is going back. I'm controlling my siege, I'm controlling my melee marches, reading on the open field, assessing the situation where ball is moving, positioning my siege march carefully, and there you go. Now it's gonna take you a little bit practice to do this, and if you played like RTS games before, you are gonna pick this up a little bit easier, this micromanagement. If you haven't played RTS games before, it's all right. You just gotta practice a little bit more. Now I'm gonna show you another method, and that is going to involve the latest implementation, which is the cook command. In order to use the cook command, you gotta go to the customization and you gotta enable the cook command. This cook command does have its advantages and disadvantages over grouping method that I just showed you. Let me get my marches out. What this grouping method allows you is that, now let's enable the cook command, right? In order to control our marches, we have to enable this, and it's gonna select all of our troops. I will show you the advantage of using cook command right now. So I'm fighting, and when I press R, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Let me reselect again. Give me a second. I wanted to show you the advantage, but cook command sometimes just it bugs out. So I guess I will start from the disadvantage. So the disadvantage of using this quick command is that sometimes it doesn't work. So for example, when I select all of my troops and then when I press R, now it doesn't deselect. Sometimes it's buggy. So as you guys can see, when I press return, my marches are not being deselected. That is the advantage with the cook command. Let me show you with the grouping, right? So I'm using my grouping, and when I press R, it deselects my marches. Okay, so I have to select my marches again to go back and forth. So it's just many button pressing, right? However, with the cook command, I don't know, like when this bug happens, when it doesn't happen. It's happening now a lot, but I used this cook command method while I was fighting at the pass 4 opening, and it was working decently for me. It was working okay. The advantage of using cook command is when you press R, it usually doesn't deselect your troops like this. I think this cook command is trying to troll me. Anyways, you get the idea, right? So the advantage of this cook command is you don't have to press much button with your, this hand. And let's say you want to return your siege march, you just deselect from here. And look at this. Now the other troop, 4 marches you are controlling, let your zone go back and you just deselect here. And all meanwhile, you can reposition your siege tower like this. And then you have to select the multi button here to go back and have this group as selected. The premise behind this is very similar to the grouping method, but you are just not using as much as of your left hand. You're just mainly using mouse clicks, right? So this method right here is going to be the preferred method when you are playing on devices, right? You don't have shortcut keys, you don't have keyboard, unless they need to fix this. I don't know when this works, when this doesn't. You can simply, with the click of a button, you can add a command there to your grouping, right? And you can keep fighting on open field. Press R, return. It doesn't deselect. Go front, go back and forth. Now you want to return your zone, deselect, right? And then you want to return your duce, deselect, right? You can also drag and drop your siege marches like this, meanwhile controlling the marches. All right, with that, our video ends here. Hopefully I have explained this correctly. So whichever you choose from these two methods, just keep practicing, do a little bit practice, and you will eventually again develop the muscle memory, and it's going to be really easy to use. By the way, if you are new to my channel, subscribe to the channel right now, because on my channel, you are gonna be finding really good Rise of Kingdoms content. Not only I do this kind of technical or skill type of content, I also make a content on the mathematical side of the Rise of Kingdoms. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day, and peace. However, with the cook command,